My biggest fear is rejection. Growing up, I was teased a lot, mostly by boys. They called me ugly and, said I wasn't pretty. They called me, a bunch of nasty names. My dad wasn't really in my life as a child. As far as my mom, we didn't have a close relationship at that time when I was growing up. She wasn't very loving towards me. I wanted that love and that affirmation from my relationships I didn't get from my parents. It started when in high school, and it was around my junior year, and she was telling me all the things that I never heard. She was telling me how pretty I was, how beautiful I was, and I never had that type of love or someone who loved me in that way. So I'll never forget the time that I finally did come out and tell my family. When I had told my mom, it wasn't the best reaction that I had gotten from her. I remember that day because I had gone there to pick up, my clothes and the rest of the things that I had left at the house. And when I had wanted to put my key in the door, they had changed the locks. I would say I lived a pretty reckless life. It included a lot of drinking, partying, drugs. I was living in homosexuality. The relationship that I was in, I thought I was really, in love with this girl. I thought I was going to spend the, rest of my life with this person. Later, as that relationship grew, that it became very toxic. The drinking increased when I was in this relationship because when we would fight, my go-to was the drinking. I watched my parents and my family drink, so that part of my life is something I've learned, and I felt like that's just what you do. You drink when something goes wrong, or you drink when you're happy, or when you want to celebrate something, you drink. That's just what you do. And around the time during when COVID had first came out, that's when I just started to realize that the environment that I was in and how I was living my life was just very, very toxic. And it really, didn't hit me until, after I had lost my best friend, and she had passed away. Once I got saved, that's when I started, doing stuff outside of just coming to church on Sundays. I started going to Celebrate Recovery at that time as well. My relationship grew just because I learned more about God and the Word and the Bible at that time. We started taking this class, Spirit Empowered Ministry, and it just teaches you about the Holy Spirit and the different giftings. I remember it was March of 2021, I believe. I just started praising and I just started worshiping, and all of a sudden I just felt the Holy Spirit come over me, and I just felt like I have never felt God's love like that, and I just knew in that moment that his love for me is real, and I felt like everything that I had gone through in my past just flashed before my eyes. And I heard him say, this is not who I created you to be, and this is not the life that I want you to have. And in that moment, I felt like God delivered me from the homosexuality lifestyle. This was truly a change that God did inside of me. I see myself as somebody who is growing. I'm a lot more happier. God knew where I needed to be to make these changes in my life. And right now I'm just going through a healing journey. I am 2 years sober now, and this is the longest I have gone without drinking. You know, I've prayed about it, and I know that God, you know, has a husband for me in the future. Hopefully in the future, you know, I do get married, and I've always wanted to have, you know, kids, so that's one of the big things that, you know, I can't wait for. I'm learning that it doesn't matter what other people think or what they're gonna say. All that matters is what God thinks and what He says. I think God says that He is very proud of the changes that I have made, and He does love me. We are a small church, but we are like a family. I just have a lot of people at the church that I can count on. Can I start over?